Hey guys, it's June 1st. So I have like a front and a back page of things to share with you guys that I received just last night and this morning. So I haven't received anything in I think maybe like 5 days. So it was a pretty busy night in the spirit last night. So I wanted to share these things with you because I think they are important. The first dream, I woke up at 4:17 a.m. I'm not sure if that's important or not, but I don't usually ever wake up around 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'm not one of those people that thinks like every little number means something, or every time I look at the clock that God is like speaking to me. That's not me. But because it's so rare that I wake up around 4 o'clock, I don't know if there's anything to the 4:17, but for what it's worth, that's when I woke up from this dream. Okay, so something bad was coming, and it was so bad that people knew it was the end. Like, people just knew that it was the time of the end because it was so terrible, whatever it was that was happening. There was a bunch of like panic ensuing, and people were running around, and people were driving in the roads, but they would have to like stop and back up and turn back around. I'm not sure why. I couldn't see anything. There was just no understanding given to me why people were having to turn around and go back the other way. But that's what was going on. So people just like walking and running everywhere and just driving everywhere, and just there was all kind of chaos going on, and people just knew that it was the end. And then as I was like in this dream, so I too was driving, but I had backed up to turn around, and I was saying something about it's 9/11, it's 9/11, it's time for us to go home, something like that. And then let's see. Okay, so then the scene switched to where I was in my parents' backyard. They still live in the house that I grew up in. So I was in their backyard with my dad, and there was a bad storm coming, like major storm. Now, right before coronavirus started, I was dreaming all the time of like major storms. But you guys, this one was insane. And there was an electric static intensity in the air, and it just felt like you could get struck by lightning any minute. And I was like taking cover on like a covered porch, and I was praying for protection, and it was just the feeling in the air was just pure static electricity. It was crazy. And I looked up at the sky, and I could judge just by the color of the sky. For some reason, it was like a true blue, but also kind of almost purplish. And as soon as I saw that, I turned to my dad, and I was like, oh no, this is bad. This is really, really bad. So for some reason, just by looking at the sky, I was like, this is not good. Not good at all. Like, it was very serious. And then I'm not sure about this next detail, but I knew as I was still standing there, the water in my parents' house was shut off for some reason, because I know that my mom was trying to do laundry and the washer wasn't coming on because there was no water. So I'm not sure what that's about. But then it continued on, and all of a sudden this crazy lightning bolt cracked out of the sky, and it was like this really thick lightning bolt, and it too was like an electric blue purplish color. It was just this really thick bolt of lightning, and it struck the fence post in their backyard, and it like grabbed and laid hold of a particular fence post, and it just like stayed there, and it was just like grabbing hold and laying hold on this fence post and not letting go, and it just kept like swirling around it and just trying to consume it almost. It just was not letting go, and it just kept striking and striking this fence post, and it just stayed on there forever. And I knew that there was something really evil about this lightning bolt. And I started saying to it, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. And I kept saying that over and over until I woke up. Like this was going on for a while. And as I was waking up, I was still saying, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. And as I woke up, I can't explain how I knew this or why I felt this. It was just kind of one of those knowings that you get in your spirit. But it was like I knew that this lightning bolt that I was rebuking was symbolizing Satan coming down from heaven as lightning. And the fence post was like the vessel or the body of the Antichrist. And it was just trying to consume it and lay hold of it and not let go. And it was a crazy sight. So I think we are just about to enter the rise of the Antichrist. And not that, the church is not going to be here to see that. But I think everything that's going on right now in the world with all these riots and race baiting and stuff, it has the fingerprints of the Antichrist all over it, if you know what I mean. Okay, so, then I woke up and I heard in my spirit the word Madrid. And then I went back to sleep and I had this dream where, so I was watching a younger couple, a young man and woman. They were reading from the Bible, just flipping through the pages, reading the Bible and talking about God. And then they slam the Bible shut and they're like, let's commit fornication right here. And I was like shocked, like they were just reading the word and talking about the Lord. And then it was nothing to them to just say, well, let's just commit fornication right here. Like they were just going to do that right in front of me. Like it was nothing. It never convicted their spirits or anything. There was just no conscience about it whatsoever. And so I went up to them and I warned them and I said, hey, did you know that, you would willfully be committing sin and God is not okay with you willfully going to commit fornication. And I tell you, this woman in this relationship, she was so mad at me. She got so angry and she just lashed out, and her spirit was not the Holy Spirit, I can say that. She was very angry, like wrathful and hateful. And she was just like verbally attacking me, and I knew that she had started to plot and plan some type of ploy against me to try and trap me, because she didn't like that she was convicted. She didn't want to hear about righteousness or holiness. And so she was trying to set me up and she was plotting something against me, but I knew exactly what she was doing. So yeah, you guys, we live in a day and age where they call evil good and good evil. And even people who read Bibles or go to church or whatever, it doesn't even cross their mind to go forward into willful sin. And as I've said before, the spirit that these people have exposes themselves because it's so hateful and nasty and accusatory, and it's just like they come at you with an immediate attack and not in love or anything like that. And so yeah, I was basically being persecuted for speaking about righteousness and holiness. And people forget that Jesus Christ is holy, and they forget, or they don't want to hear that he told us that we have to be holy like him. We have to strive and pursue holiness. So, this couple was very unhappy with me that, I warned them against that. And then as I was coming out of this dream, I received the last thing that I received this morning, which was a vision of, now I don't know what I was looking at, but it was just a round disc, some sort of heavenly body. I don't know if it was a planet or as the Bible calls them, wandering stars. It could have been a dead star. It could have been like another planet's moon or something. It looked very dull and very dim, and there was no like luminary look to it. It wasn't shiny. There was no light on it. It was just there, and the color of it was like a whitish blue, just very, very, very dull, kind of like the color of this paint. Just like kind of dead looking. It just, again, it wasn't emitting any kind of light. It was just there. This very dull, dim disc. And the only other time that I have seen this object is when I have seen it right next to a full moon. So it would look like, when you look at it, it looks like two full moons. So there was no understanding given to me of why I was looking at it or what it even was. But I think all these heavenly bodies are going to be causing some pretty crazy weather, probably earthquakes. So, I mean, he showed me this for a reason, and gosh, what was it? Maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, when I was waking up, I heard in my spirit the word earthquake. Okay, so whatever's going on in the heavens, I think is going to cause a lot of crazy weather and earthquakes and things like that. Could tie to this first dream that I had with the really, really whatever was going on that was causing people to panic and run around in chaos and turn around in the middle of the road. So that's all I have to share with you guys for today. I know a lot of us have been hoping for a Pentecost rapture, and I know a lot of people have said they have given up on that because yesterday was Pentecost, but only on the Gregorian calendar. Satan has thrown so many monkey wrenches into all the different calendars, so we just don't know what day we're at. And if you judge by like the sun, moon, and stars, Dr. Barry Awe shows that Pentecost could very well go up to June 6th/7th, which is next weekend, on the Sabbath. But Jesus could come for us today. We don't know, but, don't give up hope for that. I really believe that we're right there. It's just getting too crazy out there. And then like this dream where I knew this lightning bolt was symbolizing the, Satan coming down from heaven. I really think we're right there. So stay encouraged, stay watchful, you guys, and vigilant, and walk in the Spirit and seek the Lord. Turn off the TV if that's bothering you. It's good to be aware of what's going on, but don't consume yourself in it because it can really bring you down. And I know that personally because when my husband is home, he just leaves it on the news all the time, and then when he's not watching TV, he's playing videos of things on his phone that are going on, and it just really you start to feel depressed. And I find it a struggle lately to will myself out of bed in the mornings because the only thing that gets me out of bed anymore is the Lord and looking forward to staying in His Word and praying. Because, I haven't been to work in 2+ months, and I'm not really sure when I'm going back. Lord willing, if we're still here, I think I'm supposed to go back next Monday. So all of my days are just kind of blurring together, and it's still been a struggle to talk to people about Jesus. And just to give you an example, yesterday, okay, so I'm in what I call my little she shed right now, which is just, my little secluded place that I can come to get away from distractions. I've been thinking about trading it in on like Facebook Marketplace for like a little camper, like a little pop-up camper or something that we can take to our farm and just kind of like escape for a weekend. Like I said, Lord willing, if we should still be here much longer. So my neighbor, her friend, was interested in finding a building just like the one that I have to put on her campsite. So my neighbor and this lady and her husband and her son came down yesterday to look at it. So I was just kind of showing her around, and I always try to find an opening in conversations to bring up Jesus and end times. But you guys, I still, no matter how hard I try, I am constantly cut off, or my voice is just drowned out and nobody listens to me, or they do hear me and they just completely start talking over me. And while everybody was here yesterday, as I'm trying to, well, at first they had brought up that there has been some protesting downtown in the area that I live, which is crazy because you guys, I live in the middle of nowhere, West Virginia, like Redneckville. Nothing ever happens here. I mean, we always say we live in West by God, Virginia. You know, this is God's country. But it's changing overnight, and people have forgotten God. And just downtown yesterday, people were protesting and acting like wild animals, and people were getting sprayed in the face with pepper spray and fighting and bickering and yelling at each other and blocking off the streets. And I never thought I would see the day that foolishness would be in my area. But anyway, everyone that was here yesterday had brought that up, so I was trying to get my foot in the door with that and be like, you know, yeah, we're definitely living in the last days, and the only hope that we have anymore is Jesus. But you guys, the entire conversation switched over to everybody started talking about their early years and their drunken days in the bars. Yeah, this is when you know time is short, is when people just start erupting into conversations about, you know, former days of sin and partying at the bars and getting drunk, and it has nothing to do with what's even going on in the moment. I'm trying to, you know, show them this building that she's interested in, but all anybody wanted to talk about was how one time at this bar, you know, they were acting foolish and crying and going crazy, and then they hopped over to this other bar, and then somebody else in the room would chime in with, well, one time when I was partying at the bar, this, and this. And obviously I had nothing to contribute, because I mean, I don't live like that now, obviously, and even in my younger days, I just was never in the whole bar scene. I never went drinking or anything like that. It just never appealed to me. I'm very much an introvert, and I don't really like to socialize. So I just was kind of standing there with this look on my face of, are you serious? And I could not get a word in edgewise. And so they just started like cackling and laughing like hyenas at all their stupid, foolish stories. And I was unable to say anything, and I just kept getting talked over, and they were ignoring me, and it was so frustrating. And then the other day, my brother and his newest girlfriend and their new baby and my brother's other kids, they were all here, and they're just very like lost in life right now. And so I tried to just open up the conversation towards, like I said, you know, end days and Jesus and things like that. And I had my Bible out on the table. But it's just like, you know, pure chaos was ensuing, and I was never able to get to that point. And I just feel so useless because, you know, I always try to make a point of it to do so, but I'm literally constantly talked over, and it's at the point now where I'm like, maybe I should just tell them all to shut up and listen to me, but you know, you can't do that. But I don't know, there has to be a reason why we are still here. I know there are people still getting saved, but people around me still just aren't listening. And even though they're standing there talking about the chaos and the hell that is going on in the world right now, they still can't see what time it is. So anyway, I just wanted to share those things with you guys and encourage you to hang on, because Jesus is coming. He has his hand of protection over you and your family if you are truly in him and seeking him with your whole heart and following him. You guys, we have to walk in the Spirit, draw near to him so he can draw near to you, and he will keep you under his wings if he truly knows you. So we don't have to worry about what's going on in the world or what's coming for them, because it's not coming to us. But we have to pray for the people who are going to have to endure that and try to warn them, if anybody will have an ear to hear. I'm really struggling, so pray for me that people around me will shut up long enough and stop talking about worldly things, so that I can, give them one last warning, I guess, before we take off out of here. But I really do believe that we are probably days away from the Lord calling his people up. And if not, then there's a reason why he wants us here, and we can't rush him. I'm hopeful for next weekend. I have to hang my hope on that at this point, because otherwise I just can't even find a reason to get up in the mornings. So, all right, you guys, stay encouraged. Encourage each other. Don't fight with each other. Love each other. Bye-bye.